Andy and Stu here at a very foggy Sam Stadium. That will be what this game will be remembered for, the fog that made it almost impossible to see and watch at times. But ultimately, the more pressing issue is a defeat for Ipswich Town. They've lost 2-1 and they've lost ground in the automatic promotion race, and it's ground they couldn't really afford to lose.
No, should we get on to the performance, the game, the bigger picture stuff in a minute? Let's address the fog situation, because you're right, this is the game that will be forever remembered as the fog game. We got here, a few people said pre-kick-off, natives to this area said, I don't know if this is going to finish, and the fog was foggy, but it wasn't. I was thinking, being a bit over the top with that, and then it got to half-time and it got worse and worse and worse. The referee Bobby Madden stopped it once early in the first half, and we're told, the captain said, no, let's crack on, it's fine. But by 74 minutes, and have to be very precise with our numbers here for a reason, by 74 minutes, he stopped it, went over, spoke to both the managers, long delay, and they carried on. And it was 1-1 at that point.
They did carry on because... And by that point it had gone beyond the 75th minute, which is seen as some cut-off point for whether the game gets called, replayed, abandoned, score stands as it is. And the reason they played on is because both sides wanted to go and win. Oxford won.
Yeah, we're still delving through the rule book to see if that is actually correct, that if the game gets called off after 75 minutes, then the result has to stand. So obviously both managers said, okay, well let's just finish it then. There is some suggestion that may not be correct. We need to look into that further. But the game did finish, and Ipswich did lose to a good strike by Cameron Brannigan. How much the fog affected that, whether Christian Walton was affected by the sighting of that, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think only Christian will tell you that. It was a good goal. I just about saw it to say that, but it was a good goal. I'm not so fussed about the 75-minute mark. I'm more fussed about the fact Ipswich didn't go on and win it, and actually went on to lose it, which is really frustrating because we really felt that Town needed to get a proper result, a win here today after three draws in the league, a few little wobbles here and there. Get things going, build some momentum. They didn't manage to do that, and very early on in this game, before the fog really descended, it felt like it would be a real battle for Ipswich today. It really did. It wasn't happening. Lacked the fluidity that we've seen at times, and losing 50-50 battles on the pitch during the first half hour or so, and it felt like it was going to be a struggle for all of it, and that's how it proved, with the added complications of some weather as well. Yeah,
Kieran McKenna said afterwards that Oxford team played like no Oxford team I've seen play this season. I wonder whether their teams are just starting to wise up how to play against Ipswich the longer we go into this. I'm sure they looked at the way Plymouth played at Portman Road. Oxford normally play 4-3-3 or a version of. Today they've changed to 3 at the back and 2 up front. And pressed Ipswich and won, putting all the tactical stuff to aside, they just won more of those 50-50 duels early on in the game, and it just didn't feel like an Ipswich Town performance today. It was one of the poorest performances I can remember for a long time, certainly under McKenna. But saying all of that, it wasn't a great performance, but still had bags of chances to win this game.
Yeah, they did, and the fact they were so frustrated to not take them is because they'd gone behind to it's a really poor goal, one of the poorest conceded goals I can remember from an Ipswich team. I think Danassi, Wolfenden and Burgess would all look at that and not be in any way happy with how that was dealt with. Not strong enough at all, and Yannick Wilshere, a former Norwich player, just
again
waltzes through really quite easily to poke it past Walton. But you're right, from there are chances. Second half.
The thing is, I thought at that stage Ipswich were just starting to get to grips with the game. They'd rode out that difficult start that we'd just been speaking about, and they just started to show some glimpses of getting some link-up play going, and then they concede that really poor goal. But then they respond 4 minutes later. They get themselves back on level terms with a really well worked goal.
Yeah, starting right from the back, it kind of from Walton, feet out from Walton, played through. Danassi charges up. Good ball from Burns. then harness into danger, and a good header from Leif Davis. It was a really good header actually. I haven't seen it back across goal and into the far corner. And from 1-1, you then hope, okay, Ipswich, you've got yourself level. It's 1-1. Let's see what you can do from here. And they did have the better chances from then on, didn't they?
I mean, even in that early stages, Burns puts one over the bar from close range. Harness fired over inside the box. Lee Evans had tested the goalkeeper from a really clever set-piece routine, the latest of those they've cooked up at Playford Road. Similar in the second half, really. Some nervy moments when the balls went into their box, but Ipswich were getting the better chances. George Hurst probably with the best of those, a really good move. Burns pulls it back and he just rifles the ball just the wrong side of the post at first time from an unmarked position.
Yeah, that was his last touch of the game, and from then Dapo came on, Nathan Broadhead came on, and those two I thought they did okay, but they combined for a frustrating moment where a Broadhead shot a goal deflected away off the goal line and forced a bit of a goal line scramble. That came off Ladapo. Unfortunately, couldn't really do an awful lot with that. Connor Chaplin had a good header in the first half, saved, and then in the second, another one from it was a really good chance. Lee Evans ball into the box. He's falling backwards and manages to get something on the ball, but I think that's where the fog takes over in terms of visibility. Of just picking a ball out of the sky would have been impossible for him.
I think that was the biggest moment that was affected by the fog. That was 5 yards out, back post header, and McKenna said afterward that Connors said to me, I didn't see the flight of the ball. So
the yellow ball.
Yes, a throwback. We had a substitution, the yellow ball coming on early on in this game, but Broadhead was lively when he came on. He tried to run at people and make things happen. Hurst makes his first start. Harry Clark came on for his debut and hit the bar with a header down into the ground at a corner. That was the one that led to that Broadhead into Ladapo chance at the death. But maybe ultimately Oxford were a bit more clever in terms of the way they saw out those last 15 minutes. They just recognised that this was a complete lottery. The fog was descending. Just stick the ball in the box and create a bit of chaos and see what happens. Ultimately, that's led to Cameron Brannigan scoring. Maybe Ipswich tried to naively keep sort of trying to play their game in those conditions. Another fine margins game goes the wrong way for Ipswich Town. That is now winless in 4 league games since that Boxing Day win against Oxford. 3 draws and a loss today. It's 3 wins in 11 for Ipswich Town, and they're slipping a bit further back in this top 2 race.
That all combines. That's the gap at the top to 10, the gap to second to 7, and also worth noting the gap to 4th is 4, and Derby have a game in hand. So Town, three horse race for automatic promotion. They're the horse that's kind of lagging that few lengths behind at the moment, and got another one coming up on the rails as well. So fast forward to a home game with Morecambe on Tuesday night, and it's must-win territory.
I think so. I'm not going to beat about the bush. I think it is. Yes, there's still 19 games to go, but if Ipswich have got any chance of achieving what they want this season, they have to beat Morecambe at home, don't they? And they need to get some momentum going again quickly.
They certainly do. We'll see you there if we get home through the fog.